laptop. Okay, last I heard you.
We're live. Look, I was we're live right now, because we're live. I just.
We got a couple more minutes in the phone. That's your call.
They are. There we go.
Okay. So far.
Jamie, were you able to get Andrew on?
What?
Not yet.
Oh, you know what the fireman's name
He
is?
said you have, he just said you have to
What's the word?
unmute him.
Fireman? I think you. I'm not sure.
I have to unmute Andrew.
Jamie has to unmute
I
him.
can barely see it.
Oh, yes, yes. When she's ready to speak.
No, it's Andrew.
He's not even on. He's not even showing.
He's telling me you need to unmute him.
Oh, there he is. Allowed to talk. Oh, okay. He dialed in as an attendee, not a panelist. Okay.
Yeah, the substitute number that Spencer gave me didn't have a participant ID, so that's all I had.
Okay. You want to try again? I've got a participant ID that might work. Or do you want to just go with it as it is?
If you can just forward me the invite again, I can re-log on fully, but otherwise, let's go with this.
Okay. Actually, Spencer sent that, so I can't do it.
Your last parade.
4th of July.
And 3. Why do I have a number here?
I'll be in September.
Right there, no.
What's that? He's going fishing. 4th of July. Prescott's parade.
Oh, wow. That was 4th of July.
Okay. Have the Chino parade, I'll be there. We will, September. Nice. Are you going? I don't know. Maybe. You have signed? There's a line. That maybe signed up in the corner.
I added that.
Yeah. I got questions. I did. We can all handle that. If I got something, I'll just speak on myself.
Oh, wait, there's.
Don't lick your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Keep your hands away from your face.
Nothing else that's come up, this has all come up, a lot of really good jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
My cousin,
so you're
my
doing.
cousin from Tennessee, she said her lunch this. I figure out how I keep from touching my face. I keep a martini in each hand.
The large Corona bag, or, brown bag, silver bag, they'll fit right over them. Just in case, in a pinch.
The crown. You're on the crown. You guys go down to school?
Okay.
Well, you ready?
Like water too.
I'd like to bring this meeting to order. Would you join me for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Thank you. I think we need a roll call about now. Madam Town Clerk?
I'm getting there. All righty.
Get to turn your mic on.
Councilmember Kelly.
Present.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Beth.
Here.
Councilmember Perkins there. Around the corner there. Councilmember Turner.
Here.
Vice Mayor Miller.
Here.
And Mayor Cross.
Here. The next is introduction, presentations, proclamations. We don't have any, but I would like to thank, Spencer Guest, IT Manager, Matt Santos Info, and Jamie Lewis, and anybody else that helped us with this setup. So we're able to do it. I know it's pretty darn complicated, but they did a heck of a job. I'd like to thank you very much. I'd like to thank staff and leadership for what they've been doing for the last month to maybe 2 months, to keep the town going and doing the things that they've been doing. Make us all proud, and make us really happy that we're working in this town. Okay, let's go on to call the public. Call the public and opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. Total time for call the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration, decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. So I think we had one person that turned in and called to the public. Town manager? Sure.
This call to the public is from a gentleman named Mark Anthony. I'm only going to read the first paragraph, and the rest is just quoting from our UDO. It says, hello, we have a couple who are willing to come and help us grow additional food for the next 5 months. However, Chino Valley has an ordinance that doesn't allow travel trailers to be lived in. We would like to ask for a 150-day waiver. Having extra full-time help will allow us to grow an additional 20 to 25,000 pounds of food that can be given away. If we need to be put on the agenda for the next town meeting, please let us know the procedure. We did tell him to send an email in, which he did. We will respond to you.
Thank you very much. Not have any more calls, any further call in the public, response to the public. We had questions regarding overnight parking regulation and subdivision. The response of staff spoke to the gentleman who asked about our 14 CP in August in a highly ranked subdivision. He was happy with our discussion, no further comment is needed. Let's go to current event summaries and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor, any council member, or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events. It's listed below, and may also be a presentation on information requested by the mayor and council. Questions may be answered, no action may be taken. First of all is item A, status reports by mayor and council regarding current events. I'll start on this side.
Not myself.
No. Okay. Hearing none, I'll go on to update by Mayor Crawford regarding the coronavirus pandemic. According to the afternoon report from Yellowfly Community Health Services, there are 78 active cases of COVID-19 in Yellowfly County with 2 deaths and 7 recoveries. Cases continue to grow every day. These cases are spread throughout Yellowfly County and through persons across all age groups that are affected. The town of Chino Valley is committed to following the guidelines established by the President, CDC, Governor Ducey, and Yellowfly County Health Services. Please practice physical distance. Well, I can't even talk now. Distancing, wear protective clothing, and stay at home as much as possible. Also protect yourself and your neighbors in our everyday activities. The town is open for business with limited close contact between staff and citizens. Information is also available through our website, on Facebook, Channel 57, and by telephone and cell phone. Financial support for businesses is available from state and federal programs to the Small Business Administration and local lending institutions. The town council will be meeting as usual with appropriate physical distancing and accepting comments and concerns during the call to the vote portion of the agenda. So you contact the town administrator, the town clerk, and they can walk you through the process. The question is, when are we going to open up and get back to the way we were? My only guess is when the number of cases of COVID-19 has decreased to a level that is safe to return to business activity while practicing safety measures that control the further spread of the disease. It's a step-by-step, week-by-week, month-by-month process. We all want to go back to work. Governor Ducey will be making recommendations for opening or continuing as is within the next couple of days. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and B. Update on August 4, 2020 primary election pertaining to candidates. Do we want to do C? Do you want to talk?
Yeah, I have.
You were sitting there waiting, your foot comes down. Okay. Let's do C.
If you don't indulge me for a minute. Mayor, council, and our community.
Sorry.
Thank you for your patience in allowing me time off for my knee replacement surgery. As you know, shortly after I was out on leave, COVID-19 became a real thing, and many decisions had to be made quickly and communicated effectively. Although many people have found ways to be recognized, I would like to personally mention a few. I'd like to personally acknowledge and thank our finance director, Joe Duffy, for stepping up in his acting town manager role and working with the mayor and others to take decisive action. Joe made some quick decisions. He was great at letting me know how the town was responding to the governor's executive orders and doing his best to protect our community members, our businesses, and our staff. Additionally, I'd like to recognize Matt Santos, Laura Kierakakis, and Spencer Guest for also responding quickly in their respective roles and making decisions and communicating effectively with our staff and our community in these unprecedented times. We have a very competent staff who, when asked to demonstrate their leadership skills, rose to the challenge and helped bring clarity during these uncertain times. The actions our library took eventually became the model the other county libraries used for their facilities. Our senior center, which serves our most vulnerable population, immediately transitioned over to curbside meals, and besides serving over 50 meals a day from Meals on Wheels, is serving approximately 25 curbside meals a day. Several of our lobbies have closed to the public, and many of our departments have minimized their in-office staffing in efforts to allow for social distancing. However, we are looking at how to bring everyone back full force. Bringing everyone back to the office full-time will be incremental, department by department, depending on interaction with the public and the need to allow space and provide for any protective equipment we feel necessary. There will be some decisions to be made at either my level or the council's level having to do with service delivery, decisions needing to be made in the short term and the long term. One example will be the town's 4th of July or the 50th anniversary celebration and how they may look considering the new dynamic we are facing. In the short term, we are getting many electronic requests to open up our pickleball courts. The governor's executive order, when referring to parks, mentioned the shutting of tennis courts. We feel the pickleball courts are similar to tennis courts and felt closing them was appropriate. It is our understanding that a neighboring community does not view this the same way and has chosen to keep theirs open, but that was not our understanding of the governor's intent. Once the governor begins to loosen some of the restrictions ordered, we will follow suit. Meetings with public bodies will slowly begin to be scheduled, probably most of them in the council chambers so people may socially distance and limit the amount of public. Again, we will follow the governor's lead.
Thank you very much. I support everything that you've said and all the staff members and how they performed during this time of life, especially acting town manager.
Joe did a great job.
Joe did a great job. He's hard to deal with, but he did okay. Okay, now may I go on? I didn't mean to flash it. Status update on August 4, 2020 primary election pertaining to candidates, home rule ballot measure, and Ratified County election voter registration dates. Ms. Lewis.
Good evening. Nice to see everybody here. A little strange, but nice to see you all. I just wanted to update everybody, including the public, on what's happening with all the elections, because regardless of COVID and social distancing and all that, we are still holding an election. There's nothing in the statute to tell us we can't. So we just wanted to let everybody know that a list of the candidates who are going to be on the August 4th ballot have been posted to the website. I'm going to mention specific pages. It's the candidate web page on the election web part portion. We do have not openings, but if anybody wants to file as a write-in candidate, that is still available to June 25th, and the details for that are also on the candidate's web page. We've been posting everything that we have regarding Proposition 450. Our home rule alternative expenditure limitation is on the ballot measures webpage, as well as guidelines for submitting a pro-con statement. Sometimes you'll hear those called arguments. And anybody who wants to submit a pro-con statement about home rule for the voter information pamphlet that gets mailed out to all the voters' households, they have until May 6th to get that done. So that's creeping up pretty quickly here. And then because of all the COVID restrictions, the county has been putting out periodic news releases about how they're handling things, how they're doing voter registration, who to call if you have questions about all that. And we are also posting those things on our news flash on the home page. So just check in periodically, see what's happening with the election, so that everybody can vote and do their part and get informed on the ballot measure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments?
Vote.
Vote?
Please vote.
Please
Yes,
vote.
please vote.
Okay, let's go on the consent agenda. All those items listed below are considered to be routine, may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. Does anyone have anything to remove from the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items A and B.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431-03 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public, and no action may be taken in executive session. Action item number A, presentation and possible discussion regarding proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021. And Mr. Duffy is our finance director. He's going to make the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have just a brief presentation, really just updating Council where we are on the budget process. And tonight, even talking about whether we want to, how we want to, the next few steps to adopt the budget. So staff has met. I've met with all the department heads. We've been doing what we do every year, come up with a list of projects and looked at, and basically we have essentially a balanced budget at this time adopted. But with this COVID-19, we did take some extra steps, and actually we started these, and I got we started taking measures to actually reduce expenses, and we did this in early March, and all the department heads have really jumped on board to figure out a way to do it. The issue is we don't know the impact that this pandemic is going to have on our revenues. And I got some more detail in the future. So we not only don't know the amount of the impact, but we don't know the timing and how long it's going to be, whether it's going to be a 30-day effect, a 60, 90, or 6 months, or even a year effect. So what we did is immediately said, okay, where can we freeze expenses? Where can we hold? And let's get there quickly so that we can comfortably make it through however long this is. So we're only spending things on essential items. So departments have really reduced the amount of, they're just being very, very careful. They're only spending money if they absolutely have to. All the new capital expenditures have been suspended. So anything we're planning on doing, any HVAC replacements, roof repairs, we'll just put them on hold. Of course, all travel's been suspended. We basically have the budget done, and I went back to the departments and I said, folks, we need to see if we can shave some more off. And we didn't really reduce their budgets that I'm going to be proposing in the next couple of weeks, but we identified, and I put a list in your packet, a pretty detailed list with the blue and yellow column. The blue column is basically we went through and we just shaved the budgets in each of the departments. And this is money they just don't need to spend now, and won't spend it until we actually have it. And then the yellow column is all the capital items that we just put on hold. And so we shaved about $170,000 of just the operating expenses, office supplies, things like that. And we saved over $2.3 million in capital items. And so this list, 2 pages, will give you the detail on that. We need to make a decision tonight, discuss the Aquatic Center, whether we're going to do that or not. We've also put a temporary hold on hiring any new positions. We actually have 2 vacancies right now, and we're just not going to fill them at this time. And we're going to recommend that we defer all of our merit increases until January 2021 and address it at that time, because normally on July 1st, we do a merit increase, between 0 and 3% for our employees. So we are going to do the 1% cost of living increase, but not do the merits and defer them until January, or at least until we know that the money's coming in and that we can afford to pay for it. So like I said, the problem with the revenues is to date, we've had no effect on our current revenues. I just did the March financial reports, and we're up. They look really, really good, and if it was status quo, we'd be fine. But we don't know when the impact or the amount of the impact will be. So that's, that's the biggest challenge, is not knowing exactly how long it's going to be. It's going to hit, of course, our local sales tax, but we don't know that. We know that, our grocery stores, our dollar stores, they're doing fine, they're doing more business, but we also know a lot of our restaurants, our owned restaurants are doing less business, but then ones like Sonic, McDonald's might be doing more. So we just don't know the impact, whether it's a 3%, 5, 10, or 20%. I can't tell you right now. But we do know our state share revenues are going to get hit. The league gives us an estimate every year of where they think the revenues are going to be. And the day after they sent this estimate out, they said, oh, wait a minute, that's probably not going to come out that way. So at that point, we pulled back pretty quick. We know urban revenue sharing will be reduced, but they're always 2 fiscal years behind. This is the income tax that is shared, the state income tax is shared with cities and towns, and it's based on 2 fiscal years before. So that's not going to hit this year, maybe not next year, but the year after, if there's a big impact on it. If people aren't working, they're not paying income tax. State shared sales tax, we should see this pretty quickly. I mean, this should start hitting us in maybe as early as May. Our April sales tax is really for March sales, and as you know, March was a pretty good month. But the May sales tax is when I'm thinking we're going to start seeing, with the May numbers, some reduction. Vehicle license tax is going to be reduced because people aren't buying new cars. They're still registering the vehicles, but that growth for this tax is generated by new car sales and new registrations when they're at the highest amount. And then, of course, highway user revenue fund, that's from driving. And we all know that people are driving significantly less. And this is the revenue stream that I think is going to get hit the hardest. So, how are we in Chino Valley? How are we positioned for this? So what I did is I did this chart all the way back to 2015. And the blue number is what our budget projection is at the end of, what our reserve is going to be at the end of each fiscal year. So that's the amount of money we have left in the bank at the end of the fiscal year. And this is what we plan our budget around. So the red number is what the number always actually is. And that's what I'm telling you guys. We always roll an extra $500,000 or something over more than we projected. We always do a little bit better. And that's because we budget so conservative. We underestimate our revenues and we overestimate our expenses. So when I'm doing the blue number, which is this time of year, March, April, really March and April, this is the number I'm presenting to you in the budget. The red number is after the year's over and we close the books, and that's what we have left. So that's why we always know we're going to do a little bit better than what projected. The green line is what our required reserve has been. Now, if you go back to 2012, we didn't have, the green line was higher than that red line at the end of the year. But as you can see, our reserves are just about double what they're required to be. Now, in 2019, the reason everything went down was we moved $2 million over the capital improvement fund, which we haven't spent all that money yet, but that's that money that we used last year. So that's why we took the step down this year. But based on our history, I'm still thinking we're still going to have that extra $200,000 or $300,000 every year. The problem is with this COVID-19 issue, that red line is probably going to be a little bit closer to the blue line, and hopefully it's not below it. So that's my concern. But the bottom line with this chart is that we have a healthy reserve, we have a healthy rainy day fund, we can survive a significant decrease in revenues for a pretty good period of time. We could have a really bad year, and we're still going to be able to provide our services that we provide. So I'm not going to go through all these slides, but what I did is I picked. What I want to do is I picked the top 5 revenues, the most important ones that I see that we need to track, and we need to track them monthly. And I'm going to report this information to you as soon as I have the numbers every month. So let me just go through this one, and then we'll just move on. So the orange line is what I'm budgeting every month for each of these major revenues. Okay? The gray line is what actually happened. And so you can see in March, we did a little bit better than we did in May. Now, on the chart to the bottom right, this is the cumulative effect. of that. So when you see the gray dot just on the very left, you know, because it was really, really close. Well, in the future months, I don't know if I can show this with an arrow. I don't think I can. But what I'm expecting is that we're probably going to go down, and you're going to see a line going across the bottom. And that line is going to dip down and milk these revenues. What we want to do is wait for that line to start dipping up before we start spending money doing our capital. And this cumulative chart will just give you a visual really quick. Yep, you know, the 5 major revenues are, yep, they're taking the hit that we think they're going to take, but then we can see quickly once they make that turn and they start recovering. Once the economic activity, the retail sales start coming back, we can see it. So this is going to be the scorecard, and I'll send this, guys. I'll send it to the city as soon as I have one done, and we can just keep track of where we are for the next 6 months. And I might have to extend it out to 12, depending on when we accumulate. But there will be a point that we should actually catch up to what our projection is. And once that happens, I think we're back in business and doing business as usual. So monthly sales tax, construction sales tax, I think is really important to keep an eye on. You can see this one, the chart's a little bit higher. We had a really good month in May, but I think in April it's going to, or in March, I think in April we're going to see a decrease. I'm going to do state shared sales tax, vehicle license tax, and of course HERF. We want to track those two. So those are the 5 that I'll keep in the scorecard. One of the decisions that we had to make, I don't know if you want to talk about it now, is the Aquatic Center.
Get it done.
And I'll let you guys discuss it.
Let's hear from our staff on what they think they might have to do. I see this, but I'm talking about actually how you're going to do this. First of all, we can't do anything until the governor tells us that we can. Unless he tells us we can open, we can't open up. But if we do, we may, as a council, need to make a decision whether we're going to allow the pool to be open or not. So, and we should hopefully get a decision from the governor in the next couple of days.
So, Mayor and Council, I actually am quite neutral on the subject. You know, it's completely your guys' decision, along with the governor's recommendations as to what it is we're to do. In front of you, I did put a couple of different proposals together of how I see some possibilities if we get the green light. With these, and for each and every one of them, A, B, C, we have challenges. And those challenges are staff and training. We generally interview for staff for the pool season early to mid-March. Sometimes late March, but generally speaking, the month of March. We have not interviewed one person to this day. We have had 30 applicants. We started reaching out to applicants last week, and of the 30, 16 are still interested. Of the 16, 6 are already trained, but the 6 that are trained will still have to have some additional training, but that will be pretty easy. For proposal number C, which is basically everything that we do every year, that mirrors last year this time, just a little bit later start date. We need 19 lifeguards, which would also be WFI trained. And again, we have 16 applicants right now. So we're going to have to do some recruiting, and we're going to have to set a time to train them, which, you know, that will also depend on, you know, when we're allowed to, when we can get into a pool and start training. Let's pretend everything opens up on Friday. Let's say the governor says, hey, let's do this. You guys decide to do it. I would still anticipate at least a 6 to 7 week time frame for us to get all of our ducks in a row. And that, in all honesty, would, in my opinion, be the bare minimum. Yes.
These saying a week, we're talking 10 weeks here, roughly?
About 9 weeks, yeah. 8 to 10 weeks is what a normal season is. We will not get that in. No, if we open up in June, yeah, it's about a 9 week season, yeah.
I think we're anticipating the governor might say June 1st, that's just a go, that we could open, we don't know. Yeah.
So if we start training now to be ready for June 1st, then there's a chance it may not work anyway. If the governor doesn't say yes.
Well, how do we train now? I mean, how would we be able to train now?
So right now, we would not be able to, simply because of the order of the limited amount of people, the social distancing, everything else. Also, our pool is not ready to have people trained. It's also, we have not started the maintenance for the summertime yet. We would have to go to a neighboring pool somewhere. Right now, the YMCA is completely shut down. They are not anticipating opening anytime soon. Days Inn, we've also utilized Days Inn in the past. Their pool is completely shut down. They are not.
Did you do that?
That was Andrew's dog.
I didn't caught me, don't get me
I'll go to my office.
That was Laura's dog, sorry.
Lauren's dog.
And there are other pools in Yavapai County that we can utilize. Those are the two that we've reached out to check on.
Would they all be closed because of the governor's executive orders? I mean,
I do not have the answer to that. I apologize. Yeah.
Good. Well, we do our routine maintenance on our center when we are closed for the normal, the normal winter time. So what is it that needs to be done that isn't being done now?
So before we start training and before the Aquatic Center opens, we always drain the pool, clean it, get the chemicals back up to running, and get the pool heated, which is a process. We haven't started that yet. We're talking about a week to 10 days worth of training, or worth of work that would need to be done for the pool to be able to have someone in it to be trained.
Okay, so if we decided to start training lifeguards, the work on the pool could be done in that same time frame.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Mr. Betts?
Oh, just from the kids' point of view that I talked to and what have you, I would like to see the pool open. If the governor says we do our due diligence beforehand, when he says open, we're already ready to open.
Madam Perkins?
I just have, obviously, I want the pool open. I'm going to, our kids need, everyone's been locked up, so that's just where I stand. I did find some information that I wanted just to pass along to the U.S. Master Swimming website. And it's regarding how the growing pandemic may affect swimming. No, COVID-19 can't be transmitted via water. The chlorine in pools inactivate the virus. The good news is the average amount of chlorine that's in a pool is going to kill the virus. Assuming that your pool is properly maintained, the disinfecting chemicals in the water should be enough to render the virus inactive. The CDC reported on March 10th that there is no evidence that COVID-19 can be spread to humans through the use of pools and hot tubs. Proper operation, management, and disinfection of pools and hot tubs should remove or inactivate the virus that causes COVID-19. It continues, the chlorine inactivates the virus, can I go swim? And the quote here, I think of all things you can do, swimming is probably safer than most activities. Because most pools are housed inside a gym facility or other public space that presents possibilities for infection before you ever reach the chlorinated water. And that's probably my assumption of why the YMCA is closed, because all the other surfaces that could be touched.
Correct.
Anything they touch would be contaminated. It would be hard to get in and out of the pool without touching anything or interacting with another person. So what I talked to some people, and some suggestions were given to me regarding having a staff member, we're supposed to shower before we go in the pool. Having a staff member say, hey, shower before you go in the pool. I know that causes an extra staff member. And then normal maintenance, cleaning maintenance should be sufficient from what I found. And the pool might be the safest place to be if this continues, according to what I've read, because chlorine does inactivate it. So I am all about opening the pool, and I like the idea of option B with concession items prepackaged, no hot food. That's kind of midline as far as price. The school's already budgeted. I say get it ready, get people hired, get them trained, get people hired, pay them for training with the commission that if the governor does not lift these restrictions, then they don't have a job. And I know the pool runs us in the red every year, but it's a great asset for our community, and I don't know, who wants to see 150 kids running around on a hot day in the summer in Chino? I'd rather than be at the pool. Not to mention the Paul and
Pool's not a babysitter, unfortunately.
Yeah, this debate wasn't about a budget item, that's part of
No,
the.
I know.
I just want to make sure that we're not saying it from a standpoint, it's more just, making sure we are ready to open it and that I think it's the right thing to do. I am still a little concerned about getting people trained in time.
Court?
And I guess I would ask with that, you know, if you choose to go ahead and open it this evening, that we have some leeway. Obviously, June 12th would want to be our target date if everything's amenable and that we're given the green light by that, but that date may fluctuate because of training and staff availability.
Would we be able to extend the season a little bit longer?
So,
Not normally, because school starts.
yeah, that's kind of our
Going
big
anyway.
Usually what happened once school started, soccer, football, like 3 people will show up at.
right, because all of the after-school activities and our staff.
Of school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, absolutely.
It was a hope, yeah.
Ron?
What is the, if you just, some kind of a ballpark, because I'm sure you don't have it in front of you, but what would it cost us to train the people and prep our pool?
So for training, it's going to be right at the $5,000 mark. And for prepping chemicals, another $3,000, probably between $8,000 and $10,000. And that is Super Bowl, not only.
Okay, so training's 5, so if we looked at A, I'm just using this for an example, so I make sure I understand. We're looking at $5,000 to train the people and then another $5,300 for staffing.
Correct.
Okay.
That is their wage.
Okay, so we got $15,000 that it would cost us to get everything ready to go, so when the ball dropped, we were ready to open. We've been, you know, we've, this whole community has suffered hard for this. The kids have suffered. We got kids that didn't even get to walk when they graduated, you know, and, I know for one, I've got a 4-year-old grandson that is just going crazy because he can't go to school, he can't see his friends and do anything like that. For me, at this point in time, I think it's worth the gamble if we make the decision tonight to start training and have our people in place and our pool ready to go to open whenever the restrictions lifted, and get what good the kids can get out of summer, because I think they got it coming.
Court?
I agree. I think even if it was even July before it opened, if we even had 3-4 weeks, it would be worth it. But with that being said, I like item A, but possibly having the Saturday, Sunday, make it a 7-day, because it sounds like logistically it's gonna be lucky if we squeeze a July out of this.
So with that, between A and B, B's actually going to give you a little bit more bang for your buck.
Okay.
Because it does have the Saturday and Sunday, and we've also thrown in a family swim since we would not be offering swim lessons with that one.
And I don't know what there is to concessions.
Yeah, with that one, we're just going to do a bag of chips, bottle of water, instead of carrying hot dogs and nachos and everything else.
Nachos, not good.
Aw.
Extend my life.
I will bring nachos around next time.
I agree, comes under the 7 Ps, proper prior planning, be prepared when the lid opens, this virus purportedly is active 73 degrees and lower. 280 is the question window. Whether this is reality or not, it's out there. But the thing, we're getting hotter, we will get warm, and I think it's a great, even though we run in the red, I think it's one of our great resources. That's what I got to say.
If I might, being the bus driver, take kids there, pull over at Prescott Valley, I have parents and kids coming from there because our pool is so much better. Well, I mean, and it's just,
Everybody have the opportunity?
I won't make comment. I didn't get to make comment, I just asked a question.
Can you complain about the overhead?
You did go ahead with making comments. But I agree with you, the pool is a good place for the bacteria, or, because the bacteria will die and chlorine. But when kids are standing away for the slides and they sneeze, then what?
And they go in the pouring.
They're also greater getting killed in the car wreck getting to the pool.
I'm
not arguing that, I'm just
I
saying.
talked to a lot of professionals, I watch TV, I talk to the county, I'm on one of the county's panels with all the health folks. And I asked them, would you send your children to the pool? And they said, hell, no, I would not send my children. I personally would not send my grandchildren to the pool until it gets further down the line and we find out how this thing really works. We don't know. They don't know.
Just kind of aside on that, I've been in pool therapy getting walking. Well, when this virus first hit, my wife banned me from going, and I fought it tooth and nail, even though they did keep the facility open, Center for Excellence over here, but I have not been going because of exactly what you just said.
This is a risk factor. How much are we willing to risk?
I have a comment if I could, whenever, I don't mean to interrupt. This is Laura. So on March 9th, we had a total of 30 applications that we collected. So we were well on our way to hitting our target date to open. Then all this happened. I recall Cindy mentioning that only 6 of the applicants are still interested. My concern is parents of these children, teenagers, are not going to want their kids to work in a public environment, even if it's in a pool.
If we can't staff it, then that shuts it down. But let's see what we can do.
And Frank, you got a comment?
Yeah, quick, from a facility point of view, something that needs to be explored, and Cindy, you may have already done this, but we're having trouble finding PPE and disinfectant type supplies. I don't know how that would affect the pool, but if you need to render first aid or something and don't have the personal protective equipment, is that a factor to consider?
So we should still be stocked from last season.
Okay.
We would have to go through our supplies and see what, of course, is outdated, what needs to be refurbished, everything else like that. Matt did have a great suggestion on the slide, so we could do like the grocery stores, just separate the kids. You have someone telling them, no, back up, back up. But I would also hope that the county health department, the state, the CDC, everyone else will have some guidelines. We're at that time of the year, pools are going to be opening, hopefully, and you would think that somebody would have some guidelines for us.
I know it's a topic in Phoenix, they're talking about it too, and they haven't come up with any answers yet either. So
let's go around and get a yay or nay or whether we want to open it all, and then we'll look at A, B, and C. So let's go around, Jackie or nay?
I'm undecided, I don't know.
Don't know, I'm no.
yay. Yay.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, majority say yes. A, B, or C?
B.
If we open.
B.
B. B.
B.
B. B. Okay, there's your guidance. If we're all allowed to open, we will open, providing we can get the PPE and we can do the physical separation and things that are required from the governor, and we can do this safely. And B is the choice.
We will start the process in the morning.
In 6 weeks.
If we can get staff, and if we can get the training done, and if we can do it safely, which we can't.
So,
How about we'll find out from the governor day after tomorrow what his guidelines are. He may just shut it all down, but he may have some guidance already.
Okay, are we, at the same time as we're looking, we're saying, okay, we'll do this once the restrictions are lifted, are we willing to, is council, the rest of council ready to, say we'll make that gamble to start training and getting our pool ready, since that's a 5 or 6 week deal, so that even if he doesn't lift it in 2 days, if 30 days later he lifts it, we're on our way.
I thought that was part of the deal.
Well, okay.
What I understand.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Let's see what he does. He may extend it 30 days. He may not do anything. We don't know yet what he's going to do. Everything depends on what he does.
Thank you.
Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can rush off and do all the stuff we need to do. Okay. Okay.
You guys don't need me anymore.
Joe, before you get started, I have a question.
Okay.
The capital expenditures that we approved for this year, this budget year, are they still on board or are they not?
Well, like the restrooms and the wastewater treatment plant, that's already in progress, that's still going.
It's not in progress, though.
The contracts have been awarded.
Yeah.
But he said he was gonna start within 3 weeks, 2 months ago?
Jessica?
Yeah. Is that not correct?
I'm not familiar with that.
You're not familiar with that?
Detail you want me to go into in the contract negotiation?
I think he's asking for an update.
Looking for a start
When's he
date.
gonna?
I'm gonna say if he hasn't started, why haven't started?
Looking for a start date. This thing's been delayed forever.
When we awarded the contract, he told us that night he would do it, he started within 3 weeks.
And then he changed the prices on it, and we had to work through all that.
Oh, God.
So
I think we need to discuss this in executive session.
we now have building permits full. We have approved building permits.
So we're into it farther than I'm thinking.
So we got everything worked out and back to what council approved and got building permits approved.
And what about the water truck? I heard it was on hold for indefinite periods.
That's what I was asking too.
No, the latest I have is a June delivery on them.
I thought it was already, contract was already.
It's the production was delayed because of all the COVID issues, actual manufacturing.
So is that one set? Is there a contract thing with that as well?
We-
Just similar to a Jeff Torrance, you think you couldn't deliver within a reasonable amount of time, so.
Joe?
Yeah, we've actually issued a PO to the builder in order the truck.
But again, if they can't deliver, you know.
Well, we knew it was gonna take that long anyway for them to deliver the truck.
Okay,
That's
so
the manufacturer. We knew that upfront.
can we stop for now?
All the good? Okay.
Okay.
So, but it has to come back to council because you guys did approve purchase order. So, we have to put it on the agenda item and do it officially. So, but like, with this budget year, my plan was, because particularly Ford we have to order like our police cars and any of our other vehicles that we're buying. You order them and sometimes it takes 4 to 6 months to get. Like, we're still waiting for one of the police trucks to come. It's actually been built, it's been delivered to where they're outfitting it, but it's almost taken a year to get that. So my plan originally was to come to probably a council meeting this month and say, hey, here's the 4 or 5 vehicles that we're recommending to purchase in next year's budget. Can we order them now? And get them going. But now we decided, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna wait for this round of revenues are back up, and then we'll have the vehicles in the budget, and we're not gonna order them until we. So, but anything that you've approved already, so far, the council's approved is still in process. We haven't stopped it.
But it could be.
Potentially, yes.
So what's the process, so if the council wants us to bring something back, they'll know what's in process, and they can give us direction?
Well, I can just put a list together of everything that's in process, so we haven't taken delivery. And with, any of the caveats, yes, we should probably do it, or we can't. On me, if you'd like me to do that, I could do a report for you on that.
I'm sorry, I have one more question back to the JEP code. We approved the budget for not to exceed blah, 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 and then he increased it. How did that happen?
They tried to.
You try.
So he didn't attempt to.
I think one of the things on there was like they had to provide unit prices or something like that when he was up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he did that with Frank, and you guys had taken a few things out, the whole amount still stayed the same, even though you took some stuff out. So Frank had to go back and we're doing some arguing, like, no.
So the price didn't change?
No,
I'm just trying to understand, because you said he jacked up the prices and we had to work through that, and then,
yeah, when some of the items were removed, the other prices went up. And we said, no, just because those items are removed, the other prices can't go up, and we had some back and forth.
gotcha.
We had to work through to get back down to what.
So, when is this gonna start then?
I have to look at the schedule and see where, next week we should be finished with the pad preparation for the utility building. And we're still working on the septic design for the bath.
Okay. Thank you.
The pad prep, who's doing the pad prep?
That's been done by, town forces, this upgrade.
I'd sure like to use that next one before
I would too, sir. It's been a struggle.
You have what, December?
by December, I'd like to.
Please cut the ribbon, huh?
I personally would like to see any outstanding contracts.
Yeah.
See what it's gonna take to get out of some of them, or all of them, and bring it back to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good idea.
If we're stuck with some of it, we're stuck with it, we've already agreed, but if we can
I
not, then I would like to review them one more time.
agree with you, because I can see this being a bad point if we're holding back face raises from people, but we're buying, it's gonna put a burr in somebody's saddle.
We can at least ask the question.
And prices are gonna go up too, so we don't get caught in that. Gee, my price went up now.
Prices should be coming down.
And from your previous slide on the amount that staff is, cutting their budget, they didn't use a very sharp knife. So I think bring some of this stuff to us and let's see what we can do on whittling it down.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to finance committee with it. The finance committee take a look at it.
That might, I don't know if we'll have time if we've already executed some contracts and they want to.
Yeah, I think I'd bring that straight to council, let's not delay it.
Okay, yeah, I'll just bring you everything that we have ordered.
So that'll be a next council meeting?
It's not gonna be a long list.
Can you do it by the next council meeting?
Yes, sir.
Joe, there's probably some things that we haven't even started that might have been budgeted, so maybe let the council know what those are.
Okay.
Those things aren't gonna happen, at least right now.
Thank you, Jeff. I didn't mean no can of worms.
No, that's what you guys are here for. I'm just giving you the data, so.
Worm rancher.
Okay, so the last slide,
Did you say last?
yes, sir. I'm not gonna do another slide. So this just gets us back onto our regular schedule. The May 12th meeting is when we usually present to council just sort of a budget overview. I do the high-level revenues, high-level expenses, basically tell you, Mayor and Council, here's the big things in the budget, and here's how we put it together. So I can still do that presentation, a little, 5 or 2 minute presentation. May 19th is a typical sit-down budget meeting where we all sit around the table and go through the detail of the budgets. And we talk about the projects and the capital stuff. So that's the big budget meeting. May 26th is when we adopt the tentative budget. And then, of course, it has to be published and so that we're able to, our timeline is have the final budget adopted on June 23rd.
So it says special meeting on June 23rd, that's really regular, correct?
Yeah, you just have to convene a special meeting.
Oh.
When are you gonna have proposed budget in our hands so we can look at it?
Yeah, so I'll have that for you on the 12th.
Before,
The 23rd, the 12th,
Maybe the next.
Month and a half ahead.
11 days. That's about 50 pages per day, which is,
Was it 14 days?
Yeah, we're actually cutting the book back a little bit.
that's about it.
whatever.
Okay,
I think it's well enough.
are Are you finished or?
I'm finished.
Do we need to
Uh,
go on? Any questions?
one more question on when does our highway user fees come to the town?
Okay, so I get a distribution twice a month. And so, as they're collected, they're distributed to the county, the state and county, and so I see it. So I'm thinking as early as May that we'll start seeing a decrease, because they're probably like sales tax money.
Okay, so we get a check every 2 weeks, but you don't know how quickly is that turnaround?
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes that, because we know we're gonna have a drop. We know for sure we are, and I don't know what the lag time is. Sales tax I know, because what we collect in April is for March sales. So we're always, well, actually.
Or one month.
Month, yeah. So people are filing their returns in April for March sales, and we're collecting the actual dollars in May.
Okay.
So I'm assuming Earth is probably the same, but I just don't know.
Okay.
All I can tell you is that, you know, with the decrease in fuel usage nationwide, all the sales are going to get a lot, probably 50%.
So 1 month behind, it's pretty close to real time then,
We'll see the effects kind
for us reacting.
Right, but then once activity comes again, we should see it go back up.
Anyone else? Want to close this one? Thank you. Very much. Let's go on to item B, consideration of possible action to approve intergovernmental agreement between Town of Chino Valley and City of Prescott related to commercial water service in the Town of Chino Valley. Town manager, do you have?
I do this one, I'm just texting about it, this one, executive session.
I got a call, well, I'll say, I got a call from Greg, I got a call from the mayor of Prescott, telling us that their council approved what proposal that we sent. So we're, 6-1. 6-1.
Hold on, there's some.
Two.
So today at 3 o'clock, they did meet, they, all had a little discussion, they had some comments from the public. I will say the council for the most part was like, let's get this done, it's silly that we haven't done this. Talked a lot about the water history between the two communities and that it was poor and that they wanted to kind of change that. There are 2 small changes to this agreement. They're not substantive, but I'm going to bring them to your attention tonight. So if you go to section 3.1, the city obligations. Three.
Yep.
No, we got.
Top,
looking in the
top
chat.
right.
This goes with the agreement.
Yeah, I don't know what page it is in the agenda.
3.1,
3.1 in the city obligations,
yeah.
about 2/3 of the way down, there's the sentence there about requests greater than 2 acre feet per year are subject to review by the city water issues committee, supposed to say subcommittee, which is a big change. And then the last page, also section 10. It says on there that any correspondence is supposed to be the town manager here, for the city of Prescott, it was the public works department to change the city manager. So those are non-substantive changes to the contract. The only person who voted against it was our newest council member, Kathy Weasley.
That's only 2.
No, this one, it was 6-1. Right, you were there? 6-1.
6-1, okay.
Yeah. Phil did ask a good handful of questions, but he voted for.
Still fine, but.
Yeah.
Good.
So, I think the resolution tonight, Andrew, is, they can still pass with the amended agreement and the mayor can sign it later, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, go ahead.
Any discussion?
I think we got a lot of discussion.
No, we pretty well beat this to death. Does anybody have any?
I think you've been involved with it and the revised contract, and if they went along with that and you're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I move to adopt resolution 2020-1166, intergovernmental agreement between the town of Chino Valley and the city of Prescott related to commercial water service in the town of Chino Valley.
Have a motion, do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay.
How long have we been working on that?
A long time.
Long.
That could be, this could end up being a really good year.
Yeah. So we call the pastor yet and told him,
I have not.
you're actually gonna call the pastor?
I'm telling them right now.
They actually mentioned in the meeting that they had already one application from a place company.
Okay.
Do you know if Mr. Marhazi is come on yet at all? For the executive session?
Actually, we have to completely get out of this meeting and restart a new one, and everybody dial in there.
So let's adjourn the regular meeting and we'll move into
You might explain this, I'm not sure if they all know about
Oh, that's-
You guys know about the new format?
we'll just,
We can adjourn a meeting now and then come back.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I don't have to do
all
it
in
now.
favor, say aye. We don't
Aye.
really have to do it.
Who seconded that, please?
I did,
Okay.
twice.
What it helps is that then they don't have to keep going. They can.
So let's take a little break here until we can get, you can call the pastor and, let's take 5. And we'll come back and.
All right. And, okay.
We're just gonna